Hi, this is Jerry Moran, and Esther and I took a fantastic trip to Russia in August of 2012. And this video was actually shot by the ship's videographer. Unfortunately, there's no narration as to what you're seeing, so we've decided to take that job on and narrate this and show you a little bit about some of the things that we saw there. It was a fantastic trip. We started in St. Petersburg. We spent 6 days there, 2 days on our own with a guide that I found on the internet, and then 4 more days with the ship's guides. So as we go through this, I'll try and point out some of the things that we've seen. So as you can see from the sign there, we are in St. Petersburg, and it is a very waterborne city. It has more rivers and canals than Venice. It has over 300 bridges. It has a lot of history. It was actually founded by Peter the Great in 1703, and it was literally built on an old swamp. And so the foundations were all timber at the time. And then as time went on, the timber was replaced with concrete and steel, and now you've got this beautiful city that you're seeing now. And it is one of the most beautiful cities we've ever seen. There are more palaces here than I can count, and it seems like if you had money in the day, you just bypassed building a mansion and just built a palace. So what we're starting off with here is the fortress of Peter and Paul, and in this church are all buried the former czars of Russia. They are all members of the Romanov family, and we have a good friend, Alex Romanov, who gave us some tips on what to see and do in St. Petersburg. So the sarcophagus that you see here, one of them is Peter the Great, and then later on you'll see the one from Nicholas II and his family. Notice the interior of this church is just gorgeous, and all of the churches that we saw were of this caliber. A lot of our shipmates there. It was an all English speaking tour. Some gorgeous statuary and architecture, artistry, just beautiful. And a few birds. Hey, get a room. Little acrobatics by the water. King Neptune. Across the river there you can see the Hermitage. We'll be visiting that later on. St. Isaac's Cathedral, statue of Peter the Great, and he was quite an amazing man. That's the Church of the Spilled Blood that you just saw, and we'll be paying a closer visit to that. There it is up close, just absolutely stunning. And it's the spilled blood not of Christ, but of Paul I. Again, a lot of canals. Canal tours and boat trips are very popular. Can you read that sign? I can't. This is the Hermitage, also known as the Winter Palace. This place is the largest art museum in the world that has over 3 million artifacts in it. And Esther found out that if you looked at each one for a minute, it would take you 12 years to see everything that's inside. You can look and see all of the gold leaf that's been applied to all the woodworking in here. So everything that you see is gold, but it's not solid gold. Just a stunning, stunning place. Peter the Great there, and that's him also. And the former throne. Peter the Great loved clocks. You see a lot of clocks throughout. But just the artistry and the architecture and the beauty of this place, it's really hard to comprehend. A lot of this was destroyed by the Nazis, and so the Soviets, after Stalin, started to rebuild and refurbish all of these old palaces. Pushkin, this is the home of Catherine's palace. Catherine the Great was really quite a great Tsarina, and this beautiful building is, again, far beyond comprehension. Is that amazing? And to think that everything is handmade and hand-formed. In the background, you could just see the device on the right-hand side. That's a ceramic heater. They would put coals inside that, and it would heat the rooms. And they paid as much attention to the ceiling art as they did to the walls and the floors. That's the outside of Catherine's palace and on the grounds. Occasionally you'll see a glimpse of either Esther or myself. I think the videographer really liked Esther. She's in about 6 or 8 different scenes. Of course, who doesn't like Esther? Peterhof is one of my favorite palaces of all time. We didn't go inside. No need to. Outside is as stunning as anything I've ever seen. The two-headed eagle was the symbol of the Romanov family. What's interesting about Peterhof is the water supply is a couple of miles away, but it's an elevation over 2,000 feet higher than the palace. So all of these fountains are actually gravity fed. There are no pumps. And the highest fountain shoots 70 feet in the air. Just stunning. The fountains stay off until 11 a.m. Then at 11 o'clock there's a concert that's played and the water starts flowing, and it's really quite a ceremony. They're in full force there. And all of those statues are marble, but with gold leaf on them. Makes quite a stunning display. There were just a few people there. And this water feeds out here to the Neva River, which runs right by the palace, and the palace's favorite bird. Then after our time there, we get ready to take off. Now we'll travel through the night and arrive the next day at a small town, and then we'll get a tour of that town. Our guides there, they were really nice and very thorough. And just so you know, we go through 19 locks to get from St. Petersburg to Moscow. St. Petersburg is at an altitude of about 70 feet, and Moscow is at an altitude of about 900 feet. So to be able to rise through that, we have to go through all these different locks. And there, we have a video of one or two of them. They had a nice reception. Barflies. All of the wait staff, except for a couple, were Filipino. A couple of them were Russian, but they were all very nice, very helpful. The food was truly 5-star. We had 196 passengers aboard, has a capacity of 200. Those again are our guides. There's Esther. Our evening entertainer, Edwin, a Filipino gent, terrific piano player and singer. St. Petersburg is connected to Moscow by a series of canals, rivers, and lakes. We went through two of the largest lakes in Europe. So here we are at our first stop, little town of Mandragi, and we took like a jaunting cart around it. I hired a driver, and she was about as friendly as Joseph Stalin was, so we didn't talk much with her. But we did get to see a lot of stuff. A lot of stores. We went to a vodka museum. Here was a group of the shipmates having a painting party. They learned how to paint dolls, the little Russian dolls. Here's the instructor. With my luck, I would have painted one with crossed eyes. There were a lot of nice folks on board. Picturesque little place. And this is the Vodka Museum. 3,041 different types. And yes, you could rent horses there. Another little shop. Old-fashioned windmill, water wheel. The next day, we landed in Kizzy. Now, that church you see in the background there is the Church of the Transfiguration. It has 22 onion domes and is held together with not a single nail or screw. It's all compression or notched fittings. So truly amazing craftsmanship to build it. It was built over 200 years ago, and it is having some foundation problems. So they've got it propped up with a steel scaffolding as they try and restore everything to keep it from falling down. But it just made my heart sing, knowing what it takes to do something like that. Holy smoke. Isn't that something? Those are shingles that this thing is sheathed in. And we're going to see a guy, I think we see somebody on this tape who does those. This is our guide. She lives on the island and takes over for the ship's guides because she knows more about it than we did, or than they do. There she is. and a lecture inside of a community hall about the history of the village and what life is like there. There's the woodsman carving out these shingles. He's missing 3 fingers off his left hand. You can't tell, but he's wielded that hatchet pretty cleverly. During Stalin's era, all the churches and religious establishments were closed and used as warehouses. And then when the Soviets took over, then they started reviving them. We had a nice outdoor patio for having lunches occasionally. On the fantail of the ship. And like I mentioned earlier, the food was just superb. And then, as usual, you get a tour of the captain's bridge. So this is what is happening now. And it's really a very complete bridge. It's very up to date and has all the technological gadgets. That's the captain in the foreground there. He did not speak English. So all of this was using an interpreter. Now we have arrived in Kravitsky. And this is a home to a lumber company that makes specialized lumber items. And they are going to take us to a shop where they build log homes. They mark them, and then they disassemble them, and then they deliver them to the site and reconstruct them. But they build them here on this site. One of the craftsmen. There's one of the cabins being built. Some of the antique tools that they've used. Esther's rose made of solid steel. Nice workshop in here. Statue of Lenin. Then we go to Kirilov. This is a 17th century monastery. In pretty good shape considering the age that it is. Pretty bride. And yes, they will get a room. That guy in the blue sweater is a Presbyterian minister, and he was a hoot. We exchanged a lot of jokes. Local kids enjoying the water. Oh, we did have a vodka tasting party aboard ship. And Gunter, the restaurant manager, was the host. And he showed us many different ways to hold the shot glass. Because what they do is they give you about a 2-ounce shot. And the objective is to quaff it down in one gulp. A lot of people didn't quite like that. It was okay for me. But here he is showing how to hold it. And you can see the reactions. Some people go, no, thank you, I don't think I want any more. And others, hey, baby, bring it on. The waitstaff. Gunter's Austrian.